It's been 1 year since I quit my 9 to 5 with absolutely no backup plan. Go ahead and put on your comfiest loungewear, grab yourself something to drink, a snack, grab whatever you're working on at the moment because this is probably going to be a longer video. It might even get emotional at some point because I always get emotional talking about this, so I don't really know why I put makeup on, but we're just gonna kind of hope for the best. I'm also gonna need to put the mic on my shirt so that I can knit and talk at the same time and not be holding the microphone. So just letting you know that it does sound different. I don't know why it sounds so different when I put it on my shirt. Obviously, it's like a different placement, but these mics are made to be clipped onto your shirt. So I don't know why it's such a vast difference between me holding it and it being clipped on to my shirt. I don't know. Okay, so I've got my mic clipped on and hopefully the audio difference is not too bad. Here's what I'm working on, which is a raglan sweater using my alpaca yarn that I bought in Peru almost a whole year ago. In October will have been a year since my trip to Peru, and hopefully there will be a vlog for this sweater up soon, but it is a lengthy video as well, and it's just taken me a while to edit, and I'm clearly not even done with it yet. So debating if I should film the entire process of it or just put the vlog out, because I honestly feel like if I wait to finish the whole thing, I'm not gonna finish the video. So yeah, maybe I'll just release it anyway, regardless of if I finish the sweater by the time the vlog is out or not. But anyway, I quit my job a year ago. I had a salary, I had a 401k, I had health benefits, I had a consistent schedule, PTO, all of that stuff. So why did I quit? Because I wanted to, because it was as grateful as I was and am for it. It was hell on earth for me. I just, it was not my thing. I worked at a bank as a teller and I was really good at it. And if you're sitting there thinking like, there's nothing to be good at with, dude, yes, there is. There's so much more work that goes into it or so much more behind it than what you think. Like, I learned a lot of basically data entry and handling cash in a larger quantity than just your own register. Had some management experience as well, although that's a story for another day. I felt like I was practically a junior teller manager and not getting paid for it or rewarded for it. But anyway, I'm going to get to that part later. I think I need to give you some backstory to, or just tell you a little bit more of my history and background and education so that you can kind of understand why I've chosen this path. And also, let me just say that this is not an advice video. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to do your taxes as a freelancer, that you should quit your job, how to quit your job. This is not that. Okay, this is my disclaimer that you do not need to be taking professional advice from me because this is just my story, girlfriend. Like I'm I'm just telling you my life story basically. So anyway, I went to school and graduated from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Go Spartans. If you're also a Spartan, drop me some blue and gold hearts in the comments. I graduated with a BFA in new media and design, and I interned as a graphic designer with the University of Communications. And during my time in college, I really found a love for photography. My mom was a photographer and graphic designer. She worked for the newspaper when I was growing up, and she was just always taking photos. She also went out on her own and started her own photography business, and I would stand in front of the camera for her a lot while she was practicing different styles. And, you know, I basically was her model for test shooting and things like that. So I was just always around it. But then while I was in school, she gave me an old camera of hers, and I just I just liked taking pictures. And sadly, during my freshman year of college, she passed away unexpectedly. And obviously, all of her cameras were left behind and stuff. And I just started taking pictures all the time of my friends' siblings, of my boyfriend, just literally anyone that would get in front of the camera for me, I would take photos of them, and I just fell in love with it. And so, anyway, I went through college, I did the thing, did the internship, and I tried getting closer to graduation. I tried to apply for all these graphic design jobs and photography jobs and all of these things, but I just knew that I wanted to be a full-time photographer. I wanted to be on my own, but I felt so embarrassed that I wasn't landing any graphic design jobs or anything full-time that was creative. And, some like trolls on the internet would probably be like, "Oh, you got such a useless degree," and like, whatever. Like, who gives a shit? Like, you go to college to learn. Like, I don't know why it has turned into this thing of like, go get something that's going to make you useful to somebody else. Like, okay, that sounds like really dumb coming out of my mouth, but hopefully you can understand what I'm trying to say. It's that you're supposed to be learning more about something you're interested in. Whatever you choose to do, it should be because you're interested in it. Whether you want to make a career out of it, whether you just want to learn it, like whatever. Of course, college is so expensive that it would be smart to get something that you're going to make a career out of, but like, who says that you have to do that thing forever? Like, I don't think I'm going to be a photographer, only a photographer for the rest of my life, or only a graphic designer for the rest of my life. Like, who gives a shit? Anyway, but at the time, it's really risky to go to school and be be a known fact that you're in art school, essentially, because people don't believe in you. And if they do believe in you, they're still just as scared as you are of you failing, because it's not a promised thing. Like, nothing is entitled to you in general in the world, but especially in such a competitive and saturated field, you own nothing. You're owed nothing, and you're entitled to nothing. And it's up to you to make a name for yourself and put yourself out there and find that graphic design job, or make it yourself, which is essentially what I ended up doing. Anyway, I didn't find a job, and I was just freaking out. I felt like, oh my God, I'm going to let my dad down, which he's always been supportive of me, but I care a lot about what my dad thinks, which I should probably, like, whenever I get a therapist, unpack that. But I put a lot of pressure on myself that my dad is probably not even like, he's probably not even thinking about it like that. But I just have always been such a daddy's girl and always cared about what he thought about what I was up to. And of course, like, I want to make him proud, So I felt like what would make him proud was me having a salary job with benefits and doing the thing that everybody does. So, what do I do when I can't find that in the creative field? I apply to be a bank teller because it's easy. Like, it's a lot of hard work, but it's not difficult to do, if that makes sense. And anyone could be a teller. I think it's, as much as I hated doing it, it really is a good buffer job if you need something to kind of sustain your lifestyle or to save up money. I did save up a few thousand, like, very quickly, because I stayed at home for a little bit after college. And that was cool. But so then that's the thing. So fast forward to I graduated from college and I take this teller job, which by the way, seriously, like you don't even need a high school diploma. Like you can have a GED and apply to be a bank teller. So if you are out there and you are like desperate for a job, bank teller is probably the easiest thing because it's a revolving door. They always need people. So if you're looking for a job and you still haven't found anything, try being a bank teller. It could honestly save your ass for a little bit. So, as much as I disliked it, it was a good saving grace for me. Um, but I took that teller job and I moved back in with my dad. And, he didn't charge me rent or anything. So I was able to save up every penny that I earned and just do my thing. But when I took that job, my boyfriend, Austin, um, he was so upset. Like, he was not mad at me or anything, but he really believes in me. He believes in me a lot, and I believe in him too. But when I took that job, I was ecstatic that I just finally got a job because I was so stressed. I had no idea what I was going to do. For some reason, I felt like I needed to, there was this pressure on me that I put on myself to walk across that stage on commencement day and just have a job. Just have a job. Dude, do you know how many people don't have a job lined up? I know it's a privilege for me to be able to have a loving and supporting family who allow me to move back in at home and stay with them, etc. Not everyone has that, or maybe you have moved away, whatever. But there's so many people that don't have a job lined up. Like, there's no reason that you have to have something, a full-time salary job lined up after college. I don't know why I felt so like it absolutely had to happen. And I just was going to, like, I don't know, disintegrate if it didn't. But yeah, I guess I just back to feeling like I was failing. When it was coming down to the wire, getting closer to commencement day, I just felt like if I didn't have something lined up, then I failed. And I felt like I failed when I took that job. Like I gave up or something like that. But I had always worked restaurant jobs or whatever while I was in school and while also doing my internship and also doing freelance photography. If you ever worked in a restaurant, you know that you're working nights, you're working weekends, you're working holidays. And I thought, okay, this job is at a bank. They're going to have federal holidays. I'm going to have PTO. I'm going to have weekends off. I'm going to get off at 5:30. I'm going to have all this time in the evening. Unlike working at a restaurant when I don't get off until 10 p.m. Like I need more time, which is another thing that I should probably talk to a therapist about is that I really get anxious about not having enough time to do anything. Like there's just never enough time. I have very much a scarcity mindset when it comes to time. But anyway, I just thought that having this full-time job was going to somehow give me more time because I wasn't in school. So there was no homework to do after work. There's, weekends off. There's the holidays, all that stuff that I mentioned, PTO. And then, dude, no, that's just so not how it is. Back to, sorry, I'm so like I said, I didn't script any of this. I'm trying to stay on track, but there's not really a track to follow. So back to my boyfriend being disappointed that I took this job. And I was like, but I'm going to save up and then we can finally move in together. And, having this type of job is going to allow me to spend more time on building my business, all of that stuff. And he just was like, why don't you just do that now? Like, why do you have to work this job? Why can't you just be living with your dad and only doing that? And to me at that time, it just didn't make sense. I think because I grew up learning about money. My dad was in banking. It still is in banking. He's been in banking all of since early adulthood, all the way till now. So it just seemed like I knew what the responsible thing to do was, but it's like that saying like youth is wasted on the young, and I felt like I don't think it was wasted, but it very easily could have been wasted on my even younger self. I'm aware that I'm still young now, but it was getting very close to that. So I when I had moved back home to Fayetteville, I took that banking job or that teller job, and I did that for about 6 months. And I love my dad, I love my stepmom, love everybody that I was living in the house with. But going from having your own place and then going backwards, it's kind of hard. Like there was, it's not like I don't know. I feel like this is my shirt is all over the place. It's not like there was a bunch of craziness happening at home or anything, but it just like it's not your own space. It's just a different vibe and all of that. So I don't think you're ever fully relaxed when you're not in your own space that is yours. And so I lasted about 6 months at home, saved up some money, and then I got transferred to work in Cary, and me and my boyfriend got an apartment in Raleigh. Let me tell you something. I knew that this branch that I transferred to was like supposedly 20 minutes away from my apartment. 20 minutes in the Triangle is so different than 20 minutes in Fayetteville, okay? It is like hell, especially if you have to get on 440, okay? So I was commuting a mystery amount of time. Like every day was a mystery. Is it going to take me 20 minutes to get home? Is it going to take me 25 minutes to get home? 30 minutes? Or is it going to take me 40 minutes to get home from this job that I didn't even want? Anyway, I work at the branch in Cary, and I will say that those managers, every manager that I had in that building was so supportive and so kind, and really tried to encourage me and not only my work there, but also my personal life, like with my business. And they tried to connect me with possible clients and all of these things. And they did try to get me promoted. They really tried. I will say that. It's not their fault. Anything that didn't go my way in that regard is not their doing. So if they, for whatever reason, are watching this video, I love you guys, and like there's no beef here. I really do like love them a lot. I still keep in touch with one of my managers. I thought I just heard someone knock at the door. But anyway, when I had to get to work at 8 a.m., I had to leave even earlier. I was stuck in this city traffic. Hold on. It's just the flippin' Mormons. Sorry, I don't have anything against the Mormons, okay? I don't feel like having, just don't really feel like having a conversation with somebody dressed like SpongeBob SquarePants right now. That's it. That's all that it is. I don't feel as bad ghosting the Mormons as I do the witnesses, because the Jehovah's Witnesses are usually like older ladies that go door to door. And I just feel bad that they came out in the heat. So I'll usually open the door and let them say their thing. And I just chit chat with them for a little bit, and then they go. So I don't want them to have been walking around and sweating for nothing. The younger guys that are the Mormons and they have their bicycles and stuff, I think that they will be okay. They'll be fine. So yes, at this point, me and Austin are living together. We've been living together for a few months, and it gets to the point that I am coming home and crying every day, crying. And I'm telling him, like, I just don't know who I am anymore. I'm not getting clients. I'm not making any ads. I'm not making any content about my photography business. I'm not promoting it. I'm not da-da. He's like, why don't you do photo shoots on the weekend? And I'm like, because I don't know anyone to collaborate with. And also, in terms of clients, like nobody knows I exist because I haven't been, active on social media. I've not done any of the things that I need to do. And like, it's just a mess. Like, and I'm too tired during the week to work on anything. And yeah, like, I just don't know how I used to be in school for 18 credit hours, doing an internship, working 20 hours at least at a restaurant, doing all the homework and shit like that, and still making art, like my own personal art. I don't know how the fuck I did that. How did I do that? And now I have this structured life and I can't seem to find the time. Like, I just come home, maybe we would go to the gym, then we eat dinner, or maybe we wouldn't go to the gym, maybe we just eat dinner. Either way, I was falling asleep at like 10, 11 o'clock. And that might be normal for some of you, but that means that I just wasn't doing anything. I wasn't making art. I wasn't making friends. I wasn't getting to know the community, which, if you're a freelancer, you know that, yeah, a lot of it is online. You got to do all that stuff, but a lot of it's word of mouth. And if nobody knows who you are, you're not going to make it. Like, you're just not going to make it. And I was scared. I was like, I'm 23 years old at the time. And I was 23 and I felt like, why the fuck am I here working 40 hours a week, doing this career thing? And that's ages 20, 21, 22, 23. That's the first 4 years of my 20s I spent working my ass off. For what? For what? And one of the manager that I still keep in touch with, I'm not going to say his name in case, I don't know, he just doesn't want me to say it. But he told me, he's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but try not to think of it that way. I was like, okay. But it just started to feel like Groundhog Day. Every day was the same. It was a rat race. I'm, waiting around for 5:30 and trying to wish that day away. Then it's 5:30. We got to shut down the bank and all that stuff. I'm not leaving until like closer to 6, which is already pissing me off. And then I'm in rush hour traffic in the city. And for whatever reason, as big as the triangle is, we have basically no public transportation. And like, doing that, come home, eat dinner, whatever, chores, fall asleep, wake up and do it all over again. It was like Groundhog Day. Every day is the fucking same. Then I would meet someone in the industry, the finance industry or whatever. They're like, I've been with the credit union for 20 years. I don't know why I'm making them sound that old. They're not, we're not that old. But anytime somebody said 20 years, brother, you've been doing this every day for 20 years? And I'm not trying to shit on that. I think there's, I know people that they enjoy that structure. It is fulfilling to them, and that's great. Love that for you. I'm so glad that works out for you. That did not fly with me, because if I'm wishing the day away for 5:30, those last few hours of my day go by like that. And then I'm wishing away just working for the weekend. And then it's Saturday, which is really your only day, because then Sunday, you got to go to bed early to get ready for work on Monday. And you do it all over again. And next thing you know, it's July. Next thing you know, it's Christmas. Next thing you know, it's next year, and you're still working this job. And that depressed the fuck out of me. That was just, again, I was so grateful to have something that paid to keep a roof over my head, that gave me health insurance, that gave me a 401k, something that funded my love for traveling. I was able to take my first trip out of the country. Well, I had already been out of the country, but my first trip overseas. I had never flown out of this continent to another continent. And I was able to do that because I had saved up money from working at the bank. But that money in my savings was from when I lived with my dad. So that was the other reason why I quit, was because why am I making whatever I was making, like 40K, and once I pay my bills and get groceries, I don't have hardly anything to put into savings. I could put that money into savings, but then I'm going to have nothing for the next 2 weeks? No. Why? So I realized I hate this. Even with the money I'm making here, it's there's like nothing left over. Like, yes, it's funding all these things and whatever, but I'm still not able to really save anything. I'm not building a savings account, really. I'm just kind of maintaining one. And the health benefits and stuff are cool, but it's just not it's not worth my happiness for me. It wasn't worth it. And when I first started coming home crying all the time, my boyfriend was like, "Why don't you quit your job? Like, I don't even fully understand why you took it. Just quit your job. Like, I know you can do it." And I just was like, "Well, how the fuck am I supposed to pay my half of bills, my half of rent, all that stuff?" And he's like, "You're gonna figure it out." And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And it was really important to me that I quit when I felt like I was ready to, or just that whenever I did quit, it was because I believed in myself and not just because, someone else did. And that's a really important thing. If you don't believe in yourself, this is not the career path for you. It's really hard to believe in yourself too, because it's not always clear what the next step is, and there's just a lot of uncertainty, which I'll get into that in a moment. But so in April of last year, the first thing that I did when back up. I told myself, I'm going to quit this job when either three of these things happen. I get so many clients that I'm basically having to call out of work all the time, or like take so much time off of work, or I save up $10,000, or I go insane from working here. I did not save up $10,000. I did not get so many clients that I had to leave. So obviously I must have just lost my damn mind. And that is pretty much what I just was so sad. I was so sad of working there. It was just all wrong. So the first thing that I did was I asked them for a part-time position, which they did end up giving to me, and it paid significantly less. There was no salary. It was hourly. And you're like only allotted a certain amount of working hours in the year, and there's no PTO, none of that. So that was interesting. At that time, it kind of all lined up to where UNCG had reached out to me to be on contract with them to work on their research magazine. And so when I went part-time on my days off from the bank, I was working on this magazine, but that was taking up, it's a pretty like rigorous project. It's very intensive. You really need to be involved. And I couldn't do it with that job still. So it's almost like I needed to cut time off from that bank to be able to open the doors for everything else. Because once I did that, that's when the work started to become so overwhelming that I felt like I couldn't be at the bank anymore. So having dipped my toes into the water with going part-time, finally I told them, look, it's time for me to go. And I'm really scared about it, but I know that it's time, and I am gonna not be here anymore on August 30th. That's going to be my last day. I gave them like a 2-month notice, I'm pretty sure, or like a month. I don't know. But I ended up quitting my job. And so now here I am a year later. And like I said, this is not advice. This is just where I'm at and how I'm feeling and what I've been up to. So now I guess I'll just tell you what I've been doing for the year. Of course, I've been taking a lot of photos. Honestly, I feel like I've done a lot of stuff, but it's not. Then I think about all the stuff that I got paid for, and I feel like it's not even that much stuff. Like, so I started working on that magazine around maybe April or May of last year, but the checks were like a month behind because of how they pay out. So that in tandem with what I had left from the bank or the paychecks that I was getting from them as a part-time, hold on, let me, with the checks that I had gotten from the bank when I was part-time with them, I was able to set it up where basically I was paying my rent months in advance. I kept it aside in a separate account, but I had done that and I didn't have anything to spend. I live with my boyfriend, whom I love very much, and I told him like I'm going to pay my half of bills and everything, but anything extra you want to do, like go out to eat, go on dates and stuff, I'm not going to be able, I have no idea when I'm going to be able to contribute to that. And he didn't care because he loves me and he believes in me. And so I am very thankful to have someone that filled in on groceries and things like that. But I'm also very proud to say that I paid my half of rent and bills on my own through my own freelance, through hustling, through scraping by, all of that on my own. And if I weren't dating him, if I didn't live with him, I have no problem eating peanut butter and jelly or canned tuna. Freaking love canned tuna. And that's what I would be doing, or eating cereal or something, because that's what I did a lot in college too. Girl dinner. But yeah, I'm very grateful to have a partner who really does love and believe in me, and I believe in him too. So yeah, the magazine money had kind of set me up for the last quarter of the year. And then it gets closer to January and I start kind of freaking out a little bit. This is January 2026. Yeah, 2026. I don't have a lot of inquiries. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea how I'm going to pay. And he's like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And I'm like, no. I have so much stress because I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do to be able to pay my half of bills and stuff. And I start having all these doubts of, okay, maybe this was really stupid. Maybe I should have saved up more before I quit. Maybe I should have had a little bit more of a plan. Maybe I should have this, maybe that. What if, what if, what if? And the thing is, you just can't drive yourself crazy with stuff like that. Like you just have to trust that you're doing the right thing and keep working. So that's what I did to make myself feel better is I was constantly doing something, even if it was unpaid. I was fixing my website, totally rebuilding it. I was writing blog posts to like lug a bunch of SEO keywords into my website. I was making Instagram posts. I was doing all of this stuff, just doing the thing. And then eventually I would get a client. And I actually don't know what I did those first couple of winter months because I know that I did not have enough clients or high paying projects to be able to pay for my bills. And I am remembering now that I think the beginning of this year is when I used up my savings basically, which was my cushion. And it made me sad to do that, but also made me really grateful that I had that money to be able to do that because that's what it's there for, to be able to fill in for those rainy days or those slower seasons. And yeah, so I don't know if I really want to talk about the money side of things fully in its entirety until I'm a little bit more financially successful, I guess. I'm just not comfortable talking about that right now. I also don't feel comfortable about it mainly because I'm not a professional. I don't feel like I should be giving financial advice on the internet like that. So that's the main reason why. But I can tell you this, I'm not over here living this glamorous lifestyle. I mean, to me, it's glamorous because I love it. I love my life, even if I don't have everything physically or monetarily. Success looks different for everybody. And do I have plans to be like a six-figure queen? Yeah, of course I do. Of course, who doesn't want to like have money so they don't have to be stressed? I'm not, my goal is not to be the richest motherfucker in the world. I don't care about that. I just want to be where money is kind of a non-issue. And that is, of course, a lifelong goal of mine. But anyway, I can tell you that if you think I am living some glamorous lifestyle, and the reason I'm saying this is to encourage others because I met someone at an open mic recently and she's also a photographer and she's like, "So you do that full time?" I say, "Yes." And she goes, "Well, I don't know if this is too personal, but I guess I just have a few questions for you." I said, "Wait, you can ask me anything. Like, I don't care. You're not gonna like offend me." She's like, "Okay, well, I guess my main question is just how? Like how." My cat just sneezed. Bless you, Caesar. Um, like how are you able to do this? And I told her I was like, I am I am paying exactly what I need to be paying. My landlord, credit card, like whoever needs to get paid before me gets paid. And that's it. Like I'm not walking away with this huge profit and all of that stuff. So I'm just trying to be real with you guys. Like if my dad watches this, he's gonna be like, "You're too being too personal on the internet," and I'm just gonna be like, "Sorry, it's what the people want, I guess." But anyway, so those were the winter months. It was a dry spell, and it was kind of scary. Like every month, even into April, I think I was kind of riding the struggle bus. I was getting by, obviously, like, still have the apartment. I've still like, there has not been a single month where I didn't pay my half of rent and utilities or whatever. So, that was that, and it always every month around, like, the 10th or the 15th, if I am still needing more money for rent or I haven't booked anything yet, which that's the scariest part when you haven't even booked anything yet for that month or for the next month. I would have, like, anxiety, like, a tight chest. I'd be, like, in the middle of the night, I'm talking to my boyfriend, I'm like, "Baby, like, I just don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so stressed." And he's like, "It's never not worked out, like, it's okay." And I just had to train myself to be like, when I'm having these racing thoughts in the middle of the night, you need to tell yourself, "There's literally nothing that you can do right now, and you need to go to sleep." Because what are you gonna do at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're stressed out? What are you're gonna go do a photo shoot? You're gonna like find a $2,000 client and fix all your problems? No, go to bed. You have to get really good at just shutting your eyes and going to bed and minding your own business. Like, I know it's your own business, but you just have to go, "That's a problem for tomorrow." And it is. It's a problem for tomorrow. So usually by the next morning, I will feel better. And that drive is what pushes me to make things work. So I know some people who left their 9 to 5 for whatever creative endeavor they had or like business adventure they wanted to have. They still worked a part time job or they did something. I don't know. They just like still worked somewhere else while they were doing their freelance thing until they had enough money to replace that job or to be kind of comfortable and coast. That was my original plan. Like I told you, I took this job because I thought I was going to have more time to find clients and whatever. But the thing is I didn't. And for me, I'm the type of person that needed that fire under my ass essentially to keep me going and have me constantly in not fight or flight, but just this hustle mindset and constantly coming up with new ideas of, okay, how do I market this, learning how to use social media in a way that works the best for me, doing all these other things, and so that I can have the energy to pour into my business and into my clients and meet people. And when I was quitting my job or thinking about quitting my job, I was like, yeah, my business is word of mouth. And the only people I know in the triangle, no offense, is y'all, the people that I work with. I'm not booking photo shoots with them. I did get one photo shoot out of it, but that's not sustainable for a business that pretty much runs on word of mouth. You need to know people. You need to put yourself out there and get out there. And so a lot of what I've been doing this summer is going to events and like literally not networking events. I'm not saying that's wrong. That's not what I've been doing. I've never even been to one of those. I don't have any experience with going to a networking event. I have gone to comedy clubs. I've gone to open mics. I've gone to coffee shops. I've gone to whatever. You have to be out in the world to meet people. Duh. Like, you can't do that while working a 9 to 5. I mean, I couldn't because I was so exhausted mentally from it. And that's just how it was for me. So I also, before I quit my job, I started my YouTube channel, but I had only done a couple of videos and it was really hard to keep up with the filming and all of that. I also only had my DSLR that I take photos with, and it does take video, but it doesn't have a good mic connection. I didn't have my own mic. It was a whole ordeal to set it up. So when people are like, yeah, you can start your YouTube channel with just your phone, you totally can. If you're someone like me who is like kind of lazy with it and doesn't, the thought of having to set up a bunch of stuff to be able to film and then you got to edit it all, that just didn't work out for me. So I got the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 for Christmas because my father and my boyfriend went halvesies on that to give that to me for Christmas this past year. So love you boys. Love you guys so much. Thank you. That has been a lifesaver for me. I'm not a sponsor or anything, although I really should be because I always put my other aspiring content creator friends onto the camera and they purchase it. So Osmo, DJI Osmo brand, if you want to give me a code or something, you should probably do that because everyone who knows me knows that I do not put them on to garbage because I am very anti just like overconsumption. If I recommend a product to you, it's because I genuinely love it. So, especially right now, my current stages of content creation, because I don't get paid for any of it. But anyway, so once I got this camera, I did kind of a good job of being consistent for about a month. And then as I've mentioned on my page before, I do struggle really bad with seasonal depression. I was also going through some other personal stuff and life changes. So it was really hard for me to want to be on camera, and it just was hard for me to do anything. I didn't want to do anything at all. It's not even about being on camera. It was like I was not motivated at all because I was just down, dude. Like I was not having a good time. And then months and months went by, I still wasn't making videos. And then in May, I told myself to get a video done. That was my goal for May, but it didn't happen because I got busy with other stuff. And then in June, I told myself, really, I need to end this month having put out at least one video. And ever since then, I have been posting here to y'all once a week, faithfully and religiously to y'all. So sometimes it's not exactly a week apart because some things happen in the making process. Since I do a lot of fiber arts on my channel, if there's an obstacle that is some sort of hiccup has happened or some tech issues or the editing's just not done. So it's not exactly every week, but it basically is. And I'm really proud of myself. I just recently hit 100 subs and I'm actually close to 140. So next stop is 500 because your girl's trying to get monetized. So if you know anyone else who likes fiber arts, send them my channel, please, because I'm trying to reach 500 subs. And let me tell you also, when I hit my first 100 subs, I was in tears. I genuinely was so happy because, like I have just said to you about being doubtful almost every month because there's just so much uncertainty with being a freelancer. I like 100 subs is not that much. You can't even make money off of YouTube with 100 subs. But getting to that first 100 is such an uphill battle, I feel like, and it just snowballs from there. So once I hit that first 100, I was like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Like, this is just confirmation that I just need to keep staying true to myself, being honest, being who I am, who my mother and father raised me to be, and doing my thing, and the rest will come. With all of my hard work, the rest will start to come along. And that's why it just meant a lot to me, because when I started being consistent again, I wasn't really seeing the numbers creep up at all. I was still stuck at like 75 subscribers, I think. And that number was not budging. I wasn't hardly getting any views. And I think YouTube was kind of punishing me for not staying consistent in the first place. But then to almost overnight reach close to 100 and then a few days later hit 100. I mean, it just really warmed my heart because it's not just about YouTube. Like, it just is one thing that really encouraged me for everything else that I do in my life. My photography business, doing freelance graphic design, just any way that I put myself out there in the world. It just really meant a lot to me, and that this was really like the true beginning. Everything else that I've done leading up to I'm like getting emotional, but everything else that I've done leading up to my creative career has felt like the exposition for this grand tale that I'm gonna tell to my children one day. But it's just all felt like this really dense, hard to get through, kind of boring, not really boring, but just all of this stuff as my exposition. And now it felt like the gears are turning, like we're on track. This train is rolling. We're going for it. And it just feels like you remember in kindergarten, or maybe not kindergarten, but in grade school when you learn about like parts of a plot and it's like exposition, rising action, climax is at the top, falling action, and then resolution or whatever. I feel like I'm finally at the rising action part, and it is such a haul from start to finish in terms of the exposition part. I feel like there's so much backlog stuff that you just have to keep chipping away at, and trusting yourself and trusting that you're doing the right thing, even when there's no reward, there's no money, there's no subscribers, there's no whatever it is you're working towards or why you're doing it. Maybe you're not seeing the fruitfulness of it yet, but it's there, and you really just have to believe that it's there. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't feel this way really anymore because it's been proven to me. God, I'm sorry. I'm like, this is just, it's so special to me because it really, even though I have so many people who support me, it is a journey that you go through on your own. Whether you have people who love and support you or not, it can feel so lonely. And so I'm just really proud of myself because it's scary. I'm never ever saying that this whole adventure is not scary, but it's about being brave, which means to do something despite being afraid of it. and not knowing. So it's like all these months that I would have where I felt stressed that I didn't know what was coming for the next month. I didn't know how I was going to pay rent. I didn't know if I was going to get a client. I didn't know any of that. I just had to turn off all the voices that were like, you shouldn't have quit your job. You should have stayed. You should go back to work. You should da 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 da, all this stuff. And like, just go back to work for a little bit longer and then try again. Like, at least you tried. I had to cut that out and just trust like that there was light at the end of this tunnel. And now I am seeing the light. Like, I am very much seeing the light. I don't think that I'm never gonna face an obstacle again. Like, I know it's coming. The next thing is coming. But the thing is I have this mindset that it might knock me down, but I am very resilient and I can handle anything that's going to come my way. And that was the mindset that I had to have going into this year, because it is the year of the horse. And I knew, like, I'd seen all this stuff that like, it's going to be a really fast paced year. It could, really get a lot of whatever junk out of your life. It might disrupt you. It might, all this stuff. Like, it's just going to be a fast paced year. So I was ready. I was like, yeah, this year of the horse isn't going to take me out. I'm not doing that. I'm going to take the reins of this horse. And girl, that horse has knocked me down so many times, but my dumbass just keeps getting right back on. I'm like, nope, I'm not giving up. I'm getting right back on this thing. And I am not someone who really even fully understands or like 1,000% believes in like astrology or like Chinese horoscope or whatever, but it is part, of my culture. But also, I think just regardless of what you believe of that, if you think it's real or not, it doesn't matter. It's, to me, this metaphor of, but what are you going to do about it? Somebody tells you this year is going to be fast paced. All these things might happen. Like, are you just going to let this horse kick you down, or are you going to like get back up? Are you going to try to like take the reins of this and build this connection with this horse, which, I don't know, interpret that metaphor however you want to, I guess. To me, it's like all these challenges, or just the journey and the recklessness of it, all the uncertainty and all of that comes with this type of work. For me, it's really, I like to personify things, or like really visually materialize them in my mind and stuff. And I just keep imagining my relationship with this horse. And I feel like we've come to an understanding at this point, and I feel like I've really gotten to know it, and that's something that's really beautiful to me also. And it just helps me understand myself and believe in myself, because it's like, if me and this horse went through all this shit from January to now, the end of August, together, we can get through anything. We are going to finish out this year strong and feeling accomplished. And I'm really hopeful for that, because you just have to, anytime that you're feeling low, you have to think, it can only go up from here. Like, there's no other option than to go up from here. And that's just the mindset that you have to have about it. So I know that this video is all over the place, and maybe I should have scripted it, but I would just like to think that we're on FaceTime, but I'm the only one that's talking, and you've asked me about how my year has been of being a freelancer. So I'm just going to keep rolling with this vibe. I totally forgot to mention a key detail of something that happened to me this year was that 2 days before my birthday, my car broke down. Like, totally just stopped working, had to get it towed and take it away, sold it, whatever. I just don't have a car right now. Like, and some of my friends have asked me like, oh, have you figured out what you're going to do about your car? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to not do anything. Like, when my car broke down that day, I didn't even care. I was like, whatever. What am I going to do? You really learn how to deal with those things when you're This isn't even my cat. Our friend is like has been staying with us for a couple of days, and he brought his cat with him. This is Max, everybody. You showing the world your butt? He's very sweet, and he does not really care what you do to him at all. You want to say anything? Oh, okay. Goodbye. I guess he's going to hang out in here now. Yeah, you really learn how to deal with that stuff. And the thing about my journey is that I've always been so grateful for my parents. Obviously, like I talk about wanting to make my dad proud and all of that stuff, but I'm so grateful for how they raised me. So they did tell me, as every parent tells their kid, you know, you can do whatever you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. And for some reason, I really internalized that. Like, I took things very literally as a kid. And I think that it is true because your mind is such a powerful thing. You know, you can, for better or for worse, you can trick yourself into believing things happen that didn't happen or whatever. But for good, you can, if you really believe that you can do something, you can do it. And I think that's just a matter of you feel like it's your only option. So what, like, you're not even thinking about a backup plan. And so you're only thinking about solutions to your problems that you're currently facing. And that mindset has just really shaped me and given me the tenacity, given me the drive, given me the determination, all of these words, whatever words you want to use, I don't care. But that's what has made me be able to do all of this. And I'm really grateful for that. So even though I don't even know what this video is. I don't know if it's a podcast. I don't know if it's just me rambling, probably more so that one. But if there's any advice I could give you, it'd be that there's never going to be a right time to quit your job. That was one of the things I kept asking my friends, like seeking reassurance, like, should I do it now? Should I do it now? Like, I don't even know how I'm going to really pay for anything or do whatever, da da. And one of my friends was like, there's never going to be a good time to quit your job. Like, that's not, like, maybe if you had a bunch of money saved up and like whatever, but it's your security. And I think that was really dangerous for me to get into this 9-to-5 business because I got kind of comfortable. But when you're comfortable, nothing's gonna really, that's like how your life's gonna be forever. And if you're okay with that, you're okay with that, it's fine. But when you start feeling uncomfortable, feeling torn, like, to me, I would compare it to if you're like about to jump into a swimming hole or something, like off a cliff into a swimming hole or whatever. If you're like me and you're afraid of heights, you might run up and then stop. But if you stop, you stop. You're still exactly where you were, just like maybe 6 feet ahead of you. So then what do you have to do? You have to go back. And then you have to like rally and get yourself going again. And then you have to run up and then you're going to stop because you got scared. That feeling, once you start feeling that, it's time for you to just jump. Just go for it. Again, this is not an advice video, but if I could just give you some big sister, some big sister wisdom, you just have to do it. Is it the most responsible thing? No. Is there probably better ways to do this? I don't know, but you need to have that amount of belief in yourself of like, I have no idea how this is going to happen. I'm fucking terrified, but I know that I want it more than anything and I just need to go for it. And obviously, if everyone's situation is different, for me, a big reason why I did this is I was like, I'm young now. I'm not married. I don't have children. There's no reason for me to not take this risk, to not take this chance on myself. If anything, this is the best time to do it. So you just kind of have to have a little carpe diem, seize the day. Nike, just do it, you know? You just have to go for it. And you're still going to have days of fear, but you're going to have days of fear regardless of what you do. I don't care what religion you follow, whatever, I think there's a lot of wisdom to be found from a lot of people's religions. And, one of the things that Buddhism follows or whatever, I don't know the way to like say this properly, but you need to accept that there's suffering in everything. And I'm not saying accept it to be complacent and just be like, well, I guess that's how my life is, whatever. But not to sound all hippy dippy, whatever. It's just the truth that there's no good without bad. There's no light without dark. Like, we wouldn't even have words for those things if the opposite of it didn't exist. You get what I'm saying? Like, you just have to know that it doesn't matter if it's now, if it's 10 years from now, if it's now while you have no money, if it's later when you're a millionaire. There's something bad will happen one day that will cause you to be sad, that will cause you stress, that will cause you anxiety, and that's okay. That's life. That's life. That it's going to happen all the time. It doesn't matter what it is, when it is. And no amount of money, no amount of success is going to ever prevent those emotions or those circumstances from entering your life. Certain problems might go away. You might not be stressed about your bills because now you have a career, you have something that you've built to mitigate those issues. But there's always going to be something else. And that's not bad. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just saying that, like, that's just how it is. And when you learn how to sit with that and how to be okay with that and think, okay, so what do I do about it? That's the mindset you need to have to be able to do this, to take a chance on yourself. I guess to wrap up, because I've been talking for a long time, and this video is, like I said, all over the place. Do I still get stressed out? Yes, although not nearly as much, because I've learned to believe in myself. I've learned to trust that things will be okay if I continue to work hard and do the right thing and stay true to myself and try to be a better person every day and learn something new from everyone. Don't be afraid that there might be someone out there who's better at you than what you do, because newsflash, there's always going to be someone better than you. I don't care how good you are. There's always going to be someone who knows something that you don't know, and you have to be okay with that and learn from them. Don't be so prideful that you don't learn from someone else. Although, yes, there's a lot of uncertainty. Although I've experienced a lot of stress. Although I don't have health insurance right now. Although I'm not the richest woman in the world. Do I regret it? Fuck no. Hell no. I don't regret it. I think it has made me even stronger than I already was. It's given me a lot of faith in people, in myself. It's taught me so much. I've learned so many things from my mistakes, from other people, from the people I've met. Taking chances like this has opened up my world. I have met so many amazing other creative people, and knowing them, it has opened up opportunities for me, new opportunities that I'm excited to share once they develop a little bit further. And yeah, so no, I don't regret it. I'm sorry that I don't really have like professional financial advice for you, or how to get insurance or whatever. If you want a more structured video on this, let me know what you'd like to hear me talk about, and I'll try to maybe write something a little bit more scripted to stay on track and answer all of your questions. But yeah, so I guess that's what I've been up to for the past year, and no regrets here. None at all. I cannot express enough to you that, like, it's just been, my days feel longer in a great way. Like, time, I feel like even though I say, like, I always feel like I don't have enough time to get stuff done, I don't feel like I am working for the weekend. It's like I'm trying to hold on to time in my hands so that I can get these projects done and do all the things I want to do in my life and whatever. And that's something else I'm working on, just trying to balance my time better and be more present. But it doesn't feel like all of a sudden it's Christmas. I mean, yeah, the year has gone by fast, but not the way it did when I was working a 9 to 5. And it just feels like it's my life and it's my time that I own and not like I belong to somebody else. So if you want to experience that freedom and you have a dream that you've been anxious about taking, maybe you're having that feeling of discomfort and where you're at now, then maybe that's a sign that you it's time for you to take the next step. And sometimes you just need to have faith that, like, even if you don't know what the second step is, if you know that it's time for you to take that first step, maybe it's time for you to take that first step. So anyway, if you're still here, if you've made it all the way through definitely my longest video to date, thank you so much for listening to me. I know that this video was not very linear. It was just very yap vibes. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it encouraged you. And if there's anything you want me to address in another video, if you have any other questions, I'm pretty much wide open. I'm an open book. I don't mind sharing most things about my life. So especially if it's going to help encourage somebody else to chase their dreams. I'm sorry. I'm really like, I'm so just happy. And it's like an overwhelming amount of gratitude and happiness. And don't think that every day of my life is happy either. Like, everybody posts the good stuff online. So I don't want you to watch this and think like, oh, she's so happy literally every single day. She never has a bad day. No, I have bad days. Like I said, bad days are going to come, and that's normal, and you work through that. But I am very happy in general with my life. I have so much joy and so much gratitude for from all the support from my family, from Austin, from my friends, my other mentors, the other people that have been like mothers to me, especially after my mom passed, to the less than 200 of you that have been here every week watching my videos. I'm so grateful for all of it, and it just makes me so excited because I know there's so much more left. There's so much more left, and I'm just so excited to see the rest of it and go on this journey with all of you. So this feels so like I know this is not the same thing, but I feel like I'm in those like the YouTube apology videos where they're like crying. I'm not faking it, guys. Like, I'm a crier. I cry for every emotion imaginable. Like, I just get overwhelmed with, I feel all my emotions so intensely, it just instantly brings water up to my eyes. If anyone is like, I don't ever cry because of how my parents raised me, and so when I cry it's a really big deal, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. On August 30th, it will have been a year since I quit my job. I'm very grateful. I have zero regrets, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.